It's easy to just pick 2 sounds, double the MIDI, and then move on. But there's actually a lot more that goes into layering chords. So in this video, I want to talk about my favorite techniques for layering chords. Before we get started, my name is John with Sandscape Audio. We're a music production resource community, and we post content like this all the time, so make sure you're subscribed here. Also, after the video, feel free to head over to sandscapeaudio.com and check out some of the resources that we have over there. All right, let's jump into Logic and check out some chord layering techniques. The first technique I want to discuss is layering dry and wet sounds. So I have this chord progression here that I took from our Firestone production suite, and I have that on just a simple Rhodes piano sound. So this is going to be our dry sound. So I have no reverb effects in the actual synth, and I have no reverb on the effects chain over here. So we're just going to duplicate the chords, and we're going to add a different synth sound on top of it that has a lot of reverb to kind of mash with the chords that we have already. So I have this sound here. It's our Pretty Pad preset, and it sounds like this. So by default, it already has a little bit of reverb going on there, but we're actually going to crank it up. And I'm actually going to pull the filter down a little bit so it sits a little bit lower in the mix. All right, so let's see what we have so far. All right, I like where that's going. I want to change a little bit of the attack on our main Rhodes keys here. So a little bit softer attack so we don't have so much of a pluck kind of in the beginning there. Yeah, that sounds better. And then this is just supposed to give it a little bit of atmosphere. So we are going to turn this down a little bit so it doesn't overpower our original chords. And we're going to add a little bit of a low cut EQ on that reverb channel. There we go. All right, next we're going to take a look at layering a pluck sound over a more sustained pad type sound. So this is the pad sound that we're working with. We're going to adjust the attack on this as well, just because that pluck is kind of going to take up that space. So we don't want the sustained chords to really be plucky or have a heavy attack. So we're going to adjust that a little bit here. All right, so for our pluck sound, we kind of have this like plucky bell high pitch type thing. Sounds like this. And we want to kind of make that pretty short because we're going to have it layered with the sustained chords. So we're going to adjust the release a little bit. Bring back the decay. And then we're going to jump into the effects and shorten the reverb and delay a little bit. All right, and let's see what they sound like together. I actually hate that delay that's on there, so I'm going to take that off. But I think I am going to put a little bit more reverb back on because I do kind of like how that was sitting in there. Let's change it back to Hall. Oh, too much. Yeah, that sounds better. All right, next we're going to layer some rhythm with our chords. So again, we have another kind of sustained pad type sound. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy that over to another track here. And I have another quick kind of soft stabby sound here. But what we're going to do is we're going to change the rhythm of our MIDI track here. All right, now we have something that sounds like this. honestly a little bit too aggressive, so we're going to change it up a little bit. Definitely going to turn the volume down a little bit. Put a slower attack on there. It seems to be a common theme for today. Bring the filter down a little bit. Add a little bit of reverb. All right, let's see what they sound like together. Cool. The next technique is to use reverse and swells to layer your chords. So we have this pretty piano here. So we have an identical piano track right below it. So we're just going to copy the MIDI over there. And then we're going to make some adjustments here. So first off, we're going to get rid of all of these higher kind of repetitive notes. And then we just want these chords here. We don't want these extra little notes. And I have a couple little layers within the chords as well. So we're going to get rid of all those. All right, now we just have the individual chords like this. And what I want to do is jump them up an octave. Next, we're going to bounce this out into an audio file so that we can cut it up and reverse it. So we can go ahead and get rid of this track because we don't need it anymore. And now we have our chords in audio. So we're going to go over to here to our region section, and we're going to make sure we have the region selected. And we're going to check this reverse box right here. So as you can see, they all kind of jumped. That's because they all went in reverse. So let's see what that sounds like. Now, it didn't just reverse the chords, it reversed the order of the chords, obviously, so we have to put them back in the correct order, and that's just going to be by cutting them and placing them from beginning to end. All right, let's hear what that sounds like with our original chord progression. Sounds pretty good, but we want to clean it up a little bit so we can actually go into each one here and shorten it just a little bit so we don't get kind of the beginning attack of that chord that was reversed. So let's go through all these real quick. And this is kind of just going to be a preference thing. So depending on how you're using it, it's going to have a different effect. And since we shortened everything, we just want to put a little kind of fade in, fade out. That way we don't get any pops and clicks or things like that. Nice. All right, the last chord layering tip we're going to look at today is layering harmony notes. So you don't always need to add the entire chord progression to the layer. What I mean by that is we can duplicate it and then take a lot of the notes out and just keep some harmony notes in there. So let's hear what our progression sounds like now. All right, and then we're just going to copy that down to our other track here. And we're going to pick some notes that are in the harmony range that are going to sound good by themselves. All right, let's hear what they sound like together. I like that. Another thing we can do is pitch bend them a little bit. We go back into our piano roll here, bring up our automation, switch to pitch bend, and just kind of mess around with it, see what we can come up with. So there you have it, a few simple but effective techniques for layering your chords. Just like with anything else in music production, it's going to take a little bit of experimenting to see what works best for you. Another tip is to make sure that you're EQing all the layers that you have to make sure that they're working together. You got to be careful that you don't have too many competing frequencies. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe here so you can keep up with all the content that we're putting out. Also, feel free to head over to sandscapeaudio.com and check out some of the presets and samples that we have over there that are available. All right, y'all, that's it for this one. I'll catch you in the next one.